Communication. It's almost like you're looking at two radios. One is tuned to AM frequency, one is tuned to FM frequency, and they're both tuned in for a love song, but one doesn't understand the frequency of the other one. So much of what you feel about the world that you live in is based on the way that you choose to communicate. The things you do, the things you are acting on, and those things that you verbally express. And while communication altogether is such a huge topic you can spend a whole lifetime learning and improving on, I really want to show you a simple example that will show you how having a different perspective about how you communicate and how your communication is perceived by your partner, whoever you are talking to, can majorly drastically improve your quality of life on all levels. To choose an easy example that hopefully everyone can relate to, let's look at the example of a couple. A couple that has been together for a few years, or 6+ months, let's say it like that. You can probably relate to that most relationships, they have some topics that keep coming back. Some topics that keep coming back and present themselves as issues, as reason to discuss and argue about, even though you've been speaking about that for so many times. Most of times, if these topics keep coming back, it really is one of these things that is, for most relationships, the same. One person doesn't feel loved and doesn't feel enough, doesn't feel respected, doesn't feel important enough. One of these things, usually that's the core underlying reason. And even though one person absolutely is in love with the other person and tries to express that, the chosen words and actions to express that feeling are somehow arriving at the other person as something different. How can that be if one person acts on the relationship in a way that he wants to express his love, for example by taking out the trash, by taking care of the things in the backyard, by taking the kids out to the playground, and those are all things that inherently are motivated by showing the love, the compassion, the drive to do something for the family, to express his love towards his wife, towards his children, towards the family setup. On the other side, look at the wife. Even though he expresses his love by his actions, not so much the words in this example, but by his actions, he's hoping that she will understand he is sacrificing so much of his time by doing something for their family. But in her world, she might not feel loved because she sees and feels in that case that he does everything possible to not be in the house with her. She might be thinking he's just looking for reasons to get out of the house, to get away from her. Let's look at what we've got in this situation. We've got the husband on one side that is really sacrificing time, energy to show his gratitude, his love for the family and for his wife by his chosen actions. On the other side, we have his wife, and for her, the feeling of being loved might be shown, might be communicated, might be perceived and understood and felt in a very different way. While we have two people that truly both want the same, and they do feel the same, both love each other, it is just a matter of how they communicate that. What really should be happening here is they should both be sitting at a table to really ask the other person, what needs to happen for you so that you feel loved? And what is it that happens if you don't feel loved? Because sometimes it is Mars, it is Venus. What we guys sometimes think we need to do, it is completely different from what actually that person on the other side of the table needs to hear and feel and see. It's almost like you're looking at two radios. One is tuned to AM frequency, one is tuned to FM frequency, and they're both tuned in for a love song. But one doesn't understand the frequency of the other one. So even though the topic is the same, the underlying feeling is the same, those two radios don't match the same frequency. If you decide to actually get the technician, so that might be a coach, a family therapist, partner therapist, get someone in the boat ask for help in terms of how communication can go much better. It is about understanding the other person, not so much repeating your own words over and over again, because apparently if the same topics keep coming back, there's something lost in translation, isn't there? And while in my own experience, sometimes these ever coming back topics that kind of sparked a discussion, an issue, they were so frustrating and I felt so helpless because you thought, how can this be a topic once again? But apparently you didn't choose the right words or actions to actually show what's important. Understand this, if you decide to level up your communication, it will so dramatically improve your relationships, not just with your spouse, but also at your work space, also within your family, also towards your friends, to your closest people around you. Because if you know what you need to communicate in order for the other person to really understand what you want to communicate, you're going to be winning on so many levels. And by winning, I don't mean winning in an egoistical way. I mean winning in a much better together way. If you like this video, do me a favor, like it, subscribe to the channel. I've got so much more topics in my head that I want to speak about, that I want to present about, that I want to share with the world. So just follow, subscribe, share this with your friends who you think would benefit from this message. See you soon.